whole different experience. Mr. Cameron, what was your first impressions of the oil sands?
It's pretty astonishing how extensive it is. Even at this stage, even with with so many of the leases that aren't developed yet. I mean, there's a couple of places where you just look on all three sides that you can see from the helicopter, and it goes almost to the horizon.
Has it changed your perception? Back in April, you had said some things. Has it changed what you felt in April to now?
I don't want to say too much until I've talked to everyone and really get a sense of what's being done to mitigate the environmental impact and the impact to the local communities. Obviously, especially First Nations. That's what I'm here for. Can you guys excuse me for a second? I'll come back, but the pilot asked if we could get a picture.
Yeah.
Camera?
Get my camera. Good. Let's get our crew here.
Don't whack the rotor.
He's got the official camera. I don't know where I'm looking. Let's do it again. Yeah.
You got one there, Matt? I got one, my boys.
Okay. I'll get this.
Are you good? Just wondering why you felt it was important to come to Alberta.
Well, I was actually invited by George Poitras here and Francois. Where did Francois go? They're chiefs, former chiefs of two First Nations who are affected, by the oil sands, and they brought it to my attention. And I actually had a meeting with them when I was in New York for a meeting of the Permanent Forum on Indigenous issues. And we had a kind of a side meeting, and they explained to me some of the things that are happening in their community. And I said, well, look, I can't talk about this in the media until I've gone out there and seen it for myself and talked to people. And I just got here, as you know, and we did the flyover. Didn't expect to learn too much from the flyover, other than to just get a sense of, one, how it's done, what the actual operation consists of. And two, just get a sense for the scope and the scale of what's happening, how many companies are involved, and so on.
What's your message to Canadians, to North Americans, really coming to Alberta and checking out the oil sands for yourself?
Well, I think it's that we all need to be aware of these things that affect us all, because it's all interconnected. There are obviously environmental effects of these major, this kind of major development here, and we need to look carefully at our energy policy. We need to look to the future for how that's shaping things, and we need to make sure that the earth is protected and the rights of Indigenous people are protected, and all of us need to be aware of that. I mean, the way I look at it, because I've been down in Brazil, I've been working with Amazon Watch, I've been dealing with Indigenous leaders down there over the last few months. And, I'm going to be going to Colombia and Ecuador as well. It's the same story everywhere. It's usually an extraction industry or some kind of energy project that's on a collision course with deforestation and or destroying the forest and destroying the rights of the indigenous people that live there. So, this is something that's of great interest to me. Obviously, it's not as a result of Avatar, although it partially is. Avatar is a result of my concern in these areas that I've had since I was a kid. Growing up in Ontario, on the Niagara Peninsula there, I spent all my time as a kid in the woods and, loved it and was deeply affected as a teenager, at the start of the environmental movement by thinking about pollution and so on. And we had a lot of it in that area. The Niagara River was affected by, was horribly polluted with PCBs that were running down, and Lake Erie, of course, was devastated by industrial effluent in those days. And then it's been cleaned up, but it's taken big shifts in policy. It's taken a public outcry, and I'm not anti-business, I believe in business, but I think, you can't do everything you want, and you have to be respectful of the earth and respectful of the First Nation people, the indigenous people who were here first.
I see you with your own camera here.
This is not my camera. I was just asked to grab some B-roll here. And no guarantees, guys. Okay. Light levels were down, and I never did get the focus to work. But
how would you compare?
I think I got you a couple shots you can use.
How would you compare the scale of what you've seen so far with, say, the Belo Monte in Brazil?
It's a similar kind of scale. The Belo Monte Dam project is a $16 billion project. It's one of about 60 big hydroelectric dam projects that are planned in the Amazon basin. So it's the same sort of thing in a general sense, which is you have this resource there. In that case, it's energy, but the cost of harvesting it is enormous in terms of the forests. And the Belamonte Dam alone, only one of those 60 projects will displace 25,000 people, most of them indigenous. These are the kinds of things that are happening all over the world. They're brought to my attention because they're real Pandoras in a way. People are saying that fantasy that you put up on the screen in Avatar, that's my life. That's happening to me right now. And the funny thing is that when I made Avatar, I thought, well, I'm an artist, I'm a filmmaker, I express myself through movies and documentaries. This will be my big statement, and then I'll, just go relax for a while. And it was quite the opposite. That was just the start of this journey, which has, become almost a kind of a mission in and of itself. And I can't make another Avatar quickly enough to be able to comment on the things that are happening right now. A lot of major decisions, I think, need to be made by the human race in the next 5 to 10 years, and we don't make those Avatar movies fast enough.
You've got quite a busy schedule. What are you most interested in hearing from or seeing? You're doing Syncrude tomorrow and then going up to Fort Chipewyan and the premiere on Wednesday. What is most standing out?
I want to meet with the First Nations leaders, and we're going to have dinner tonight. And we're going to have a number of meetings and briefings and so on. I get to, and in Fort Chip as well, I'll get to hear their I think very real concerns about their health and the welfare of the environment, the animals that they need for their culturally and for their livelihood. And the way I look at it is that the indigenous people are the ones who speak for nature. Our society goes in and says, well, what can these natural resources do for me? Nobody speaks for nature, And what I see everywhere that I go is that it's the indigenous people that step up and say, we speak for nature, because that's their culture, and that's what they believe and feel. So I want to hear from them here, so that I kind of a little bit more know what I'm talking about when I talk to guys like you.
Okay. When you did back in April, when you did call the oil sands the black eye, do you think that opinion can be swayed?
I don't know. I'm going to hear what the oil sands people, the oil company people, have to say about what they're doing to mitigate the environmental impacts and make sure it's safe and so on. And I want to talk to, to the government agencies about what they're doing to monitor this and make sure that the right data is being taken, and that public health and the environment are being protected.
I'd love to talk to you all night, but I know you're busy.
Well,
thank you very much for your time.
Let's talk after I found out some more. I think this is a great opportunity. It's a great learning opportunity for all of us here, because we've got everybody stepping up and saying we want to talk about this, and it's a very, very what I know right now for sure. This thing is complex. There are a lot of moving pieces to it.
Thank you.
At first, you're flying over a lot of forest, and you see a little patch that's opened up someplace to get there. But other side of even when you're in the undisturbed area,
They're pinned.
all of that. First thing we took off, we left town, we flew out over some nice hills. We got our first view of the.
I saw you guys drop. I saw you drop low there.
Yeah.
You can see the natural formations too.
In
the cliffs there.
But my thought was, what beautiful, what gorgeous country. Then, of course, what better time of year to see it than
during the fall,
lit up with the fall colors.
Yeah.
And then you come to these areas that are just devastated.
Yeah. Well, and it's good too that we got to see the both the SAGD, the in-place extraction, and the mining, because the in situ is where the industry is going to be expanding.
Right.
And so what we're seeing with the mining, we're approaching the end of that. It's only about 20% of the actual deposit, but the other 80% is going to be that in situ extraction. So,
right.
And that's where we're headed on it.
Yeah. So. But they still need the tailings ponds for the in situ.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, that part of it doesn't change. You only don't have the open pit mine.
Well, it actually gets worse because what they do is they create the tailings ponds as well underground. You know, because they're injecting that, and there's no comprehensive hydrological studies that have been produced yet on how injecting things into the earth, solvents and superheated steam, you know, is going to impact aquifer and groundwater sources. You know, so
well, it seems, Well, I don't want to comment yet. See some more and hear some more. I'm just trying to wrap my head around how these actual processes work, what's involved. You know, how the tailings ponds work, how the in situ extraction works.
Right.
You've flown over that before, of course.
Not that part.
Really?
Yeah, further like higher than. No, I didn't go that far.
Yeah, it was a pretty extensive tour. We got to see.
You see the difference of the untouched part and the part that's been worked on already.
Yeah.
It's just a complete world of difference.
Yeah.
Not good.
Well, you can see the areas where they've done the seismic surveying, where they've cut the channels through the forest, which is obviously places they're planning to expand into next.
That's right. Yeah. You know, it's really, well, I don't know. It's kind of sad, to see all that.
It must be
happening.
It must be difficult for you to look at so much of the forest devastated.
It is very difficult. And where you've seen the beauty of it, and then all of a sudden, it's just like,
Yeah, the thing that struck me when we took off out of Fort McMurray is how beautiful the country is.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It was gorgeous, and of course with the fall colors and everything, it's just spectacular. It really reminded me of.
And then you see the development happening.
Yeah.
It's really
Well,
sad.
I think, I want to do. We'll talk some more. I want to talk to the oil company people about what they plan to do about restoration, putting it back, if that's how. And I think they need to be able to demonstrate to the Canadian public that that's possible to do.
That would be good.
And have the science community validate that.
Yeah. That would be nice. Yeah.
I like the way it comes up and just catches under the higher clouds. It's an inlet by younger boy.
Such a lake, Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's nice that you have one word for that, or one term for that, and everybody knows what it means. Yeah. How many children do you have?
I've got 4 boys and 1 boy.
4 boys. Good. You must have a traditional name as well.
Oh yeah.
Had you flown around that extensively before?
Not that extensively. We've seen a lot more. I was here once before, about 2 or 3 years ago.
Another guy joining us.
This was a lot.
It's a lot to sit outside for 2 hours and see a disturbed area.
Oh, it's massive. I mean, it's totally overwhelming.
Oh, yeah.
You're almost speechless.
Let's go.
Let's
go talk. Maybe our speech will come back.
Sure, mate, no problem. We need to just get out of the way of all these open doors.
It's beautiful up there.
Looking forward to it.
All right. Thanks very much.
Here you go. You get to keep that.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Good flying with you. I think I've shotgun here.